If you guys are like me and have limited time on the water but want to be the best at fishing you can possibly be, I'm going to share with you 5 tips that will help you be a better angler without practice. Let's dive into them. I know the introduction is going to make this video sound pretty gimmicky, be a better angler without practice, but that's really what these tips are all about. It's more about the mindset, it's more about the preparation and the things that you guys can do off of the water to maximize your skills and your abilities when you're out on the lake. And so in today's video, I want to share with you guys 5 tips that will help you be a better angler without physically having to be on the water practicing your skills. Now, if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Benjamin Nowak, and I post fishing tips, take you guys along with me on trips, and just share with you guys my experiences on the water. So if you guys enjoy that style of content, please consider subscribing and building this community. Now, one of the things I've learned over the past couple of seasons, now that I have 2 girls of my own, is my time on the water is very limited. Whether I'm working 40 hours a week or I'm spending time with the girls, I'm getting maybe 1 to 2 days a month to actually get on the water and fish. And so what I'm trying to do is find ways to maximize my time at home so that when I get on the water, I'm catching more fish, I'm landing more bass, I'm putting myself in a mindset that's going to allow me to be successful. And that's really where this video comes from. Because one of my biggest struggles is getting out on the lake and not necessarily having everything ready or being in the right headspace to maximize the bites that I'm getting. Now, tip number 1 is going to really revolve around preparation at home and ways that you guys can be sure that when you get on the water, if a fish bites, you have the best opportunity to get that fish in the boat. And that first tip is going to be about maintaining your gear, your boat, your rods, reels, and baits to make sure when you get on the lake, you're ready to go. You're not out there retying, you're not changing hooks, you're not making sure that your line is good. When you're at home and you're preparing for a trip, spend that time preparing your gear. Retie your baits. Check your line, make sure there's no nicks or frays. Check your hooks, and this is something that I see a lot of guys make the mistake of, but I fish a lot of stock hooks on my baits, but before I go out, I make sure those hooks are good. When you're checking your baits, check to make sure the hook points are good. I'm not saying you have to change all of your hooks out every single trip, but just make sure they're sharp, make sure you don't have any rolled points or opened out hooks. When you're getting on the water and you have limited time, you really want to maximize each and every single bite. Check and maintain that gear. Not only does it help you maximize the time on the water, but it maximizes the life of the gear that you're using. And this to me is another big point. A lot of guys disrespect or don't really take care of their gear very well. I would really recommend going through your gear at least once or twice a year and making sure that everything is good. Cleaning up your reels, cleaning down your rods, making sure that things are ready to go when you want to get on the water so you're not dealing with broken product. Also, maintain your boat. Really take care of your product that you have on your boat. Clean the boat deck. Put all your used baits back in the boxes. This is something that I used to be really bad about. I would have a pile of baits down in the bottom of my boat that I'd just cut off and toss down there. But one thing I realized is I was rusting out a lot of hooks. I go to grab a bait from the pile and they're all melted or tangled together. Maintain that gear, organize your boat, so when you get on the water, your stuff is ready to go. The other big thing is that this is going to make you a lot more efficient. When you go to grab a bait, you know exactly which box it's in, you know where it's at, you don't have to basically dig through a pile of baits to find the single one that you want. Keeping your gear organized and maintained is the easiest way that you can be a better angler and maximize your time on the water. Tip number 2 is building your network. And as we get into the social media, tip number 2 is all about building your network. And now that we're in the age of social media, it's very easy to build this network of anglers. Really getting out and talking fishing with more people or spending time on the water with new and better anglers. And I'm not saying every single trip out you have to go fish with someone new or you have to fish with someone better than you, but having these conversations with different people will give you different perspectives and help you look for different things. I have a buddy named Joey DiCenzo. I've never met in my life. We met through social media, but him and I talk pretty regularly about what's going on over on Simcoe or on the bodies of water he's fishing that I've taken and applied to my own styles. Whether that's going to 5-pound test braided line on occasions, whether that's fishing a big swim bait. I actually caught a fish last fall throwing a big swim bait that he told me to throw and kind of gave me the rod, reel, line breakdown. And so just having this different network gives you different things to look for. And in the social media age, it's so easy to comment on someone's post, to send someone a message, to just interact with different people and grow that fishing network, which will help you be a better angler. To me, one of the powers of social media is really having access to so much information, learning about different techniques, learning about how guys are applying different baits in their regions in ways that maybe you can take and apply them to where you fish as well. But I do want to caution against one thing. Don't ask for someone's spots or waypoints or what lake they're fishing or where they're fishing at on a certain body of water. One, it's not going to make you a better angler. You're going to be chasing someone else's bite. And a lot of times, in my experience, when you know where someone's fishing or what they're doing, you're trying to replicate what they would do on that spot instead of if you were able to find that on your own and maximize it the way that you like to fish. So build that network, meet new anglers, get on the water, or talk to people that you might not otherwise have the opportunity to meet, because it's such an incredible tool that will help you be a better angler. Now, tip number 3, and I don't know that I necessarily fully agree with this tip, but if you're a tournament angler, don't get too hyped before you get on the lake. This is something I used to do really, really bad, but I would listen to this pump-up music, and I would get on the water, and I'm all revved up and ready to go like I'm going out and playing a football game or a hockey game. And one of the problems was that when I get that bite, I'm jazzed up and I'm not really paying attention to the mechanics of fighting a fish, or I'm reeling a bait too quickly and that fish comes off. Don't get too hyped if you're a tournament angler. And this is going to result in you being more clear-minded, making better decisions, really focusing on what's going on in the moment instead of all these emotions that are tensing you up, hyping you up on the water. Now, the reason I don't necessarily agree with this is that if you're a weekend guy just going out to have fun, you want to really get excited and enjoy that time on the water. And especially over the past couple of seasons, I've really tried to put myself back in that mindset of going out and enjoying fishing, going out and enjoying those emotions, being excited, being hyped up. And to me, that has made fishing more enjoyable. So if you're a tournament angler, stay more calm, cool, level-headed, be more focused on the task at hand, because you do have money on the line. You are trying to compete. And sometimes those emotions of just being in the tournament are enough to get you that hyped up that you need to be. You don't need the additional getting hyped up on the way to the ramp that's going to cause you to be overly tense or make poor decisions on the water. So just be clear-minded, but also look for areas to be excited when you're out fishing. Tip number 4 is break your day into 1 to 2 hour windows. If I'm going fishing for 6 hours, I'm going to break that day up into 3 2-hour periods where I can take the time to really try different things, and then at the end of those 2 hours, reflect on what's working, reflect on what's not, and make adjustments going forward. As an angler, I think this is going to be extremely important, and this is something I've really started to work on because it's going to allow you to find patterns throughout your day and really look at what the fish are doing to help you follow them and make adjustments. In the past, I go out with a single mindset of this is what I have to be doing, this is what the fish have to be doing, so that's what I'm going to get stuck with. And when that doesn't work, I start to get the wheels spun out from under me, and I try a bunch of different things. I run around the lake and end up really messing up my entire day. So breaking the day into these smaller chunks is going to give you the opportunity to kind of sit down, reflect, say, okay, I caught that fish on a long tapering point first thing in the morning when the sun was coming up on an A-rig. And then as that sun started coming up, okay, they started to move out a little bit deeper. That was the first 2-hour period. Okay, those fish are starting to move out deeper. Maybe I'm going to go check some of those deeper water areas in that second period of my day, in that second chunk of my day. And by doing this, you can really start to find patterns that maybe you would otherwise miss because you're too focused or too scatterbrained in the moment to really recognize that. So break your day into chunks. Take the opportunities at the end of those 2 hours to really reflect on what's going on. And this will help you to maximize that time on the water to really figure out the different things going on throughout your day. And building on that is tip number 5, which is don't get discouraged when plan A doesn't work. As anglers, we have this predisposition when we're going to the lake that a certain technique or a certain pattern should be working. When that doesn't work out, a lot of anglers start to spin out and they start to panic and run around the lake and try different things. Don't get discouraged. Look for what other factors might be causing these fish to do other things. So when you're heading to the lake and you look at the weather conditions and you see, okay, it's pretty stable temperatures, these fish should be up shallow and I should be able to throw a power fishing technique. When you get out there and that doesn't necessarily work, say, okay, what else is going on? Is my water off-colored? Maybe the water temps fell or rose a little bit. Maybe your water levels are different. Different conditions are going to cause fish to do different things. So really sit down, evaluate what's happening, and go to your plan B. Fish in the moment, and I know this is said so many times, this is Mike Iaconelli's thing, but fish the moment because that's going to help you be more successful on the water. Follow the conditions. Don't get too spun out when plan A doesn't work because most times it's not going to. and really look for ways you can adjust your day. So those 5 tips are going to help you be a better angler without actually practicing your fishing skills. Maintain and organize your gear, build a network, don't get too hyped up if you don't have to before going out fishing, break your day into 2-hour windows, and then don't get too discouraged when plan A doesn't work out. Hopefully these tips are going to be something that you can start applying to your days on the water and make you a better angler as well. I know this is a pretty gimmicky title, but I really believe with these 5 tips, you can make yourself a better angler by doing these simple 5 things. Now, if you guys enjoyed this video, I think you'll also enjoy this fish catching video right here. It's going to take you on the water with me, and you see how I make progressions throughout the day to follow these fish. And if you're not already subscribed, click that button right there. It'll subscribe you to the channel to let you know when I post more videos just like this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'd love to know some other things that I might have missed that you do to get ready for your trips on the water. As always, take care, tight lines. God bless. Pursue your passion.